Good afternoon. Happy Sunday. James Freeman made this video where he says a whole lot of stupid things about the Jonesboro police officer says he smells Mary Jane that performs cold-blooded execution. Now, James doesn't actually show what happened. He just makes a lot of assertions. He calls the cop a liar, yada, yada. A couple big points. Number one, there was something that brought the cop's attention. If you notice, there is a spotlight on the kid. The cop has gotten out. He's approaching the kid. Cops don't tend to like to walk. Something caught his attention. Maybe it's the fact that there's a kid out after dark. We don't know necessarily what time it was. It looks like it was about 10:30. If you can trust the clock on the webcam. So 10:30 at night, this kid's walking around. That might be suspicious. Maybe he drove by him and the kid was looking furtive. Remember in Illinois versus Wardlow, Wardlow was standing at the corner of a building with an opaque bag. This is an opaque bag. You can't see the contents of it. And Wardlow saw the police and started running. Well, this kid might have seen the cop come by and started acting furtive and trying to go off in a different direction. Now, Freeman seems to think that because the officer starts making small talk about trying to get to know people, that somehow that means the cop isn't lying. I think the cop was lying, trying to get close to the kid, trying to figure out what's up. Officer says he smells marijuana. James Freeman says, well, there's all these sorts of innocent explanations for why the cop might smell marijuana. And in fact, medical marijuana is legal in the state of Arkansas. Well, first of all, it is illegal to smoke marijuana in public in Arkansas. So if this kid was smelling like marijuana in public in Arkansas, that might be a problem. Another problem is Navarrete versus California, as well as Illinois v. Wardlow, United States versus Arvizu, Terry versus Ohio. There's all sorts of cases where the actions taken by the defendant were capable of innocent explanation. In Navarrete versus California, the police got a call about someone who almost ran someone else off the road. The police pulled the people over, found drugs. They said, it's capable of innocent explanation. It could have been the driver responding to an unruly child or other distraction. Yeah, great, awesome. Except it also could have been a drunk driver. And the police don't have to say, there's an innocent explanation. I no longer have reasonable suspicion and or probable cause. Terry v. Ohio, Terry walked up to the window. He looked into it 20 times. Someone thought I was lying because I didn't state the number of times that Terry looked into the window, as if that really changes anything. If it had been one time, if it had been 15 times, when does reasonable suspicion start? Who knows how many times it would have taken. But ultimately, the point is that Terry was looking into the window, walking back and talking to someone on the street corner, going back, looking in the window, going back to the street corner, talking to someone. If it happened twice, would it have been reasonable suspicion? If it had happened 15 times, would it have been reasonable suspicion? Who knows? But the point is, looking into store windows is literally the point of store windows. They are literally there so you can see in and you can see the merchandise, and maybe you go in there and buy something. That is the point of the store window. So it is perfectly capable of innocent explanation. In Illinois v. Wardlow, again, it was a young man standing at the corner of a building holding an opaque bag. He saw the police coming and he ran. Completely capable of innocent explanation. He could have been just coming outside to prepare to take a jog. You don't know. You don't know. And the cops don't know. Except the cops don't have to know. US v. Arvizu, that was where, if I remember correctly, there was a van that was driving along a country road near the border, and it was the type of van that smugglers use to smuggle drugs, and the driver was acting kind of nervous and suspicious, and the kid's knees were really high or something like that, so they thought that they were sitting on top of bales of drugs. But anyway, long story short, completely capable of innocent explanation, and yet still provided reasonable suspicion and or probable cause. So just because it's legal to have a medical marijuana card Great. That doesn't mean the officer doesn't have reasonable suspicion. And so then, James doesn't want to show the graphic, gruesome details, but I do because I think they're important. Now, you don't see any blood, you don't see anything really disgusting or gory. I mean, you see gun flashes on blurry camera, but listen. What you need to do is you need to listen, because James says that the officer has control over the kid, except the officer the entire time is saying, "Give me your hand, give me your hand." The kid's laying with his right arm and his right hand pinned underneath him. And he's not giving up his right arm. His left arm is out, but he's not giving up his right arm. And the cop is saying, give me your right arm. If that's a gun, if you've got a gun, this isn't going to end well for you. The kid's like, yeah, I know. But he doesn't give up his right arm. And then this happens. Let me back that up a little bit. Did you hear that bang, ow, fuck? That was the cop getting shot in the leg. The cop was definitely shot in the leg. The kid was very much alive and unharmed, because you see a few seconds later, cop pulls his gun and bang in the back, bang in either the neck or the head. Point of the story is, well, there's two real points. Number one, don't resist arrest. I don't care if it's legal in your state. Don't resist arrest. Fight the cops in court where you don't end up shot and dead. If you think the stop was illegal, sue the shit out of the cops. Don't resist arrest. It doesn't do you any good. It doesn't do anybody any good. And the only thing that happens is you get buried. That's not happy. But the second thing is, don't shoot cops. Cops definitely will shoot you if you shoot them. And it is self-defense. It's justifiable. You are armed. This kid was armed with a firearm. He was willing to use it. He had used it, and he had shot you. What are you going to do? You're going to shoot the shit out of him until he's done. You shoot until he's done. The cops don't have to try to shoot the gun out of his hand. They shoot you where they need to shoot you to stop you. Just like if you're doing self-defense, you don't try to shoot people in the knee. You don't try to shoot the gun out of their hand. You shoot them where you could shoot them to stop them. And it's a gun. It's probably going to kill them. Anyway, the cop is shot, but another cop goes and attempts to do medical treatment on the kid. The kid is doing agonal breathing, and agonal apparently means it's gasping for air, like his brain isn't getting enough oxygen, and that generally means you're going to die, and the kid did in fact die. The cop was cleared because the kid shot him first. The kid shot him. The cop was shot before the cop pulled his gun. The cop was shot. That's not an execution. If you get shot and then you pull your gun and you shoot somebody back while they're still armed and while you're still in danger, you will most likely not get prosecuted. And if you do get prosecuted, you will most likely have an excellent chance of pleading self-defense. So, moral of the story is, don't resist arrest, and definitely don't shoot police officers. No matter how terrible they are, it will just end up with you dead. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.